All right, NBA fans, we have a trade, which is a really interesting one for a Laker fan like myself who just got through seeing these two teams back to back. So we saw all these players play their last games with these respective teams that they're leaving. The Blazers and the Clippers have done a deal. The Clippers are going to be getting Norman Powell and Robert Covington's expiring contract, and the Blazers are going to be getting a second round pick to go along with this draft with the rights of Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, and Keon Johnson. So basically, what the Blazers are doing here is getting rid of some salary. They're dumping salary. That pulls almost $20+ million off of their books, and puts them in a position to kind of have a little more flexibility. Maybe they can do some things with that, having that second round pick. As we've discussed many times on this channel, the Blazers are in such a situation that they were so far over the luxury tax and so far into being repeat offenders of that luxury tax rule that they didn't even have their mid-level exception $5 million to provide to make them a better team. They couldn't use it, so this gives them a little more flexibility, getting a little bit of a salary off of their books, and ultimately starting the process of what I think is probably going to be a rebuild, the first of many moves that's going to help them rebuild their team. And the Clippers got better. Clippers got better with the news that Kawhi Leonard is going to be out for the rest of the season. They're essentially saying they're not tossing it in. Although Robert Covington is going to be coming off of their books, which does create salary for them at the end of the season. So that's also a good thing for a team that also needs flexibility. But Norman Powell is a player who they pick up that they're going to have on tap for multiple years, that I think is a high impact player. Someone who's going to make them a lot better, someone who can help supplement what is not coming back in terms of Kawhi Leonard on the offensive end. Norman Powell looked fantastic against the Lakers a couple nights ago, and although he's moved around a couple of times, I think he's going to be very, very good with the Clippers. I think this is going to be excellent. Obviously, you got Ty Lue down there. He's going to get the most out of Norman Powell. That is a good team that got a lot better. Robert Covington, he's a good player, but he had a bad showing against the Lakers, so my last thought about him was not the greatest. But again, he's coming off of their books, and he's also a high impact player when he's playing well, particularly someone who could stretch the floor and play some defense. So the Clippers got significantly better, in my opinion, for the short term. And the Blazers also helped themselves quite a bit by creating some flexibility with their salary cap. So I think this is a win-win for both teams. I don't think you can really say too much bad about this trade. To be honest, I like it. Kellen Winslow is a player that has kind of moved around a little bit. Injuries have kind of robbed him of his prime. I don't know what he's going to be able to provide the Blazers, if necessary, anything really. He's just going to be somebody there to help booster their bench. Keon Johnson, I'm not familiar with, but I know he's a young player. So I'm pretty sure he's going to get a chance with the Blazers as well. And of course, Eric Bledsoe comes in and provides another guard that they can use. I would not be surprised to see them move on from Eric Bledsoe just as quick as they got him, because they have a plethora of guards. Obviously, dealing with the fact that they have C.J. McCollum, Dame Lillard obviously is still on books, and of course the emergence of Anthony Simons, who I think is a starter in this league, and so on and so forth. So Bledsoe is going to be a guy who's just going to be in a log jam, and I'm not so sure I love him on this roster per se, but it wasn't about bringing him in. It was about creating that cap space for the Blazers, so you definitely understand what they were doing. Expect Bledsoe to probably be moved, or even stretched. I don't know if they would do that, but I do think that they have options at that guard spot, to say the least. I heard that C.J. McCollum may be on the move. Obviously, Dame Lillard is somebody who's injured right now, big-time superstar player. I think his days in Portland are coming to an end. Personally, I think it's almost over. One of the things that I've been telling you guys for all year is that I think that he's been doing them a solid, keeping them afloat, in terms of being someone who can keep fans rather in seats and things of that nature, give them a draw while they didn't have any flexibility. A move like this helps me understand that they're able to create flexibility going forward, as to which they probably won't need to have him on the books and should be better for getting him off of it. So I expect Dame to be traded. Maybe they make a move to get Ben Simmons. I think that that's something that could be available to them going forward. And that second round pick is definitely going to help sweeten up any deal they decide to make. So, yeah, the Blazers, they really helped themselves here. I'm not going to lie to you. Even though the players that they're getting back are not exciting players, certainly not anything that you want to really build around, nothing like that. But it's all about creating that flexibility, and they did that. So, yeah, man, So yeah, this is good. This is good. And the Clippers, like I said, they got better. You know, anytime any team adds Norman Powell right now, in my opinion, you got better. Norman Powell's a guy who can play the three. He's a guy who can play the two, and he's just a very consistent, very, very good scorer, of whom I know the Blazers are going to miss. They're going to miss him, but you know, they needed that salary off the books. I always thought the Blazers should have never made the trade to get rid of Gary Trent Jr. You see what's going on with Gary Trent in Toronto. He is balling out of control, damn near scoring 30 points a night. He's going to be an all-star someday, in my opinion, and it probably will not be that far away. I thought they should have kept him. He was younger, and he was a more sturdy investment, in my opinion, based on that youth and the fact that he can do just about everything Norman does. And then you see them move on from Norman a year later. So it's one of those situations where I always thought that Gary Trent should have been a part of their plans. And the fact of the matter is they paid him the same amount of money they paid Norman Powell. And in this situation like this, I think Gary Trent, if they were to have Gary Trent right now, he would have got them an even better return than what they got right now for Norman Powell. So I always thought that was a mistake, but it is what it is. So this is where we're at, man. This is where we're at. That's the trade. A dang good one. Hopefully this is the start of a very active trade deadline, just because we like movement around here. And most importantly, there's a lot of teams that I feel like can get better. I feel that can get better for making a couple moves, especially teams that are salary cap strapped, etc. So, yeah, good start. Well done, both teams. Nothing bad about this trade. I think it's an A1 trade for both teams based on what their needs are. So, that's what I got to say, man. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching.